Good evening, everyone, or good morning, whatever time it may be. I am Regina YC Garcia from Greenville, North Carolina, and I am just so excited to be here with you today on this wonderful occasion, this 10 for 10, where we get the opportunity during this time to pour back into our neighbors to the west. I'm actually from the east, from Greenville, North Carolina. And my heart, my prayers are with all of those who have been impacted by Hurricane Helene. Today, I'm going to be reading for about 10 minutes from a set of poetry that I read not so long ago. And it's under this broad title of How I Got Over. Some of you may know that song. It was made famous by Mahalia Jackson, sung particularly during a dark time in our history, as people were struggling to make it through a hard time, as many of us are today, as many of you are today as well. So under the title of How I Got Over, my soul looks back and wonders, how did I make it over? Mama and them said, we marched so you could run. Mama and them would remind us that we are soldiers in the army. We have to fight, although we have to cry. We have to hold up the blood-stained banner. We have to hold it up until we die. The fire talker's daughter. My mother talked the fire out of burns, eased the pain, as did her father, as did his mother, as does my son, as will his daughter. It had to pass me by as I was not a man-child, yet my mother looked at me like I was sun in the sky, like I was promised. She said that while I would not have that gift, I would have a great many. And even though I could not talk it, I certainly carried it. Power. I entered the world very tiny and gray with a gray ring around my brown eyes, said I was scrawny with bright eyes that had seen before. Mama said a great many long gone spirits dwelled where I was born, and when it was time to leave that place, she was well ready to go. They worried her incessantly. She told me many other things, like how great aunties Hat and At were healers, and women would come to them for many an unknown ailment, and how God put these abilities in us because of what God knew we would need to survive, for our families to survive, for our people to survive. My mother marched in the movement. My mother educated the masses. My mother spoke the fire. But sometimes my mother held her tongue. My mother can no longer tell me any more about these truths that I have discovered are very real. That is to say, she lives, but she cannot say. Sometimes her tongue got confused. Now her tongue is at rest. I cannot talk the fire, yet I am fire. I know this because she told me so. Truth. I come from a family of healers of all types. My mother was a fire talker. That means that she aided in the healing of people who had been burned. I had aunts who were healers as well. Many times people would come to them, especially women, to get healing of one kind or another. The title of this poem is Hi, John. It is a root. But there's a story behind it. High John in African folklore was a prince who managed to find a way to come during the transatlantic slave trade to be with those his people who were carried over to the Americas. And in order to stay with them, he managed to morph. High John. Like King Arthur of England, he had served his people, and like King Arthur, he is not dead. He waits to return when his people shall call him again. High John the Conqueror went back to Africa, but he left his power here and placed his American dwelling in the root of a certain plant. Only possess that root, and he can be summoned at any time. That's from Zora Neale Hurston, High John the Conqueror. High John. High John manifests running wild in fields, crouching low in gardens, even burrowing underground, heeding whispers and chants for more, for better, ignoring those who doubt his power to restore health, to improve conditions, to bear the fortune, to find courage. He has followed those stolen, those sorrowed, those steadily holding hope that he will find them and his power will transcend their trouble. Over here, High John. High John so high, the saints still call him. The Orishas cry out, rumble round to find him, to guide him, to reveal him. He, unassuming, lowly, powerful, and holy. He moves through from tall grass to clearing and arrives holding fortune in one hand and healing in the other, pours assurance from his mouth and illuminates love to the seeking and the scorned from lips dripping in honey and humility. Oh, High John. High John comes. He could have stayed away, but he could not leave his people as they entreated, danced in clearings, stumped drums thumping the night. Yea, High John. High John arrives, golden straw crown gleaming, making ways for his people who have wailed, wandered, waited, watched, fatigued and faltering. He still sees the holes to fill, that they might somehow become whole as he who has scoured the lands and the seas. Draw near, High John. High John finds and fixes and pulls from robes a conqueror's cure. This next poem is entitled Stars and Sin. Looking at stars is sin. I'm born in sin. I'm looking at stars to find myself, to find my way, to find an answer, to find the voice in the stars. Many of the righteous followed stars, found Jesus following stars. What a journey, looking at stars to find their way, to hear that voice, to see it clear. Mama Harriet looked at stars. Mama Harriet knew God. The God she knew. You think that God is your God too? Sounds good to say it, but her God was in the night air and in her mind and in those stars. Have you looked at what happens when you look at stars? Looking at stars has slowed death. Looking at stars has saved lives. Not looking, though, sometimes meant not living. Telling me not to look at stars, telling me not to live, telling me to lower my eyes, telling me to hear your Jesus. Is my Jesus your Jesus? My Jesus was born under the stars. Ain't no sin in him. My Jesus was born under stars. Ancient books say that his star shone brightly above him. Folks have walked for years guided by the stars, but now messages from the stars are devilish. Stars worship God even better than flesh. Line up and listen, better than flesh. I look at stars, that makes me sin. I look at stars, because I was born in sin. I look at stars, they are messengers of science and salvation because they know God. And I want God to show me the way. And I want God to keep me whole. For this final poem, I'll be reading from, again, The Fire Talker's Daughter. The first one was from that book, and this one is from that book. Hi John is actually from a new book that will be coming out. By the time you hear this, it will be out, entitled Whispers from the Multiverse. This fire tastes like. This fire won't look like the last ones did. Sin souls torn up crying, wondering how to get love back, how to fix life, how to repair. The last fires tasted like loss, tasted like shame, tasted like despair, tasted like mourning, tasted like no way out, tasted like no way back, tasted like Tulsa, tasted like Elaine, like Watts, like Wilmington, tasted like Greenville and old Epps High, tasted like all it had consumed. This fire tastes different though. This fire tastes fed up. This fire has eyes set beyond loss, beyond prison, beyond death, beyond the graves. This fire has new eyes fixed on that new Jerusalem. New fire gonna propel these children into promised land. They won't need the water of the oppressors because they are children of the living waters and raging fires, an earth that has promised fertility, yet pushed out weeds to choke and distract. Yeah, this fire tastes different. It tastes like energy, tastes like righteous fury. Its fuel is dark kindling root. It will combust from a place so deep, so misunderstood, so underestimated that it will not be contained. This fire tastes different. It tastes like resolve. It will reject any attempts to thwart combustion, the internal combustion. It will incinerate attempts at trickery, for it has seen the video and believes. It saw murderous hubris. It saw the dead that were tried for dying. It saw the solid stance of patronizing defiance of other fires. It saw the lies stifling acrid air. This fire tastes different. It tastes alive. It will not stop until there is nothing left that can stop it. It will then scoop the ashes and build Jerusalem. Yeah, this fire tastes different. This fire tastes like revelation. This fire tastes like change. This fire tastes like hope. Thank you for listening. Bless you all. And I thank you again, 10 for 10, for allowing me to be a part of this. Be blessed.